Have you ever wondered what happens in a forest when nobody's around? Imagine a place full of whispers and giggles, where every leaf and twig has a tale to tell. This is no ordinary forest, but a magical one, brimming with secrets and stories. As we step into this enchanting world, we are greeted by the fresh, sweet scent of pine and the musical chorus of birds singing high up in the treetops. A soft breeze rustles the leaves, whispering tales of the forest's many inhabitants. In this magical realm, the trees stretch up high like giants reaching for the sky, their leaves forming a green canopy that dances with the sunlight. Among the rustling leaves and whispering winds, there's a constant hum of life, a symphony of nature's sounds that never ceases. Hidden amongst this lively orchestra of the forest, with his ears perked high and nose twitching with excitement, was our hero. In this forest lived a curious little bunny named Benny, who loved exploring. One sunny morning, Benny decided to go on an adventure deeper into the forest than he'd ever been before. With a twinkle in his eyes and a spring in his step, Benny began to prepare. He filled his backpack with a water bottle, some sandwiches, and a small blanket. His heart was pounding with excitement as he set off on his journey. As Benny ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller, the air fresher, and the sounds more vibrant. He could hear the rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, and the distant murmur of a flowing river. His heart filled with joy and wonder at the beauty of nature that surrounded him. Suddenly, his adventurous stride slowed, his eyes widened in surprise. A challenge had presented itself. In front of him was a wide, fast-flowing river that he needed to cross. His heart pounded in his chest. The adventure had truly begun. But how was he going to do it? Benny sat on the riverbank thinking about how he could cross the river. His eyes wandered around, landing on the large leaves falling from the trees. A light bulb seemed to go off in his head. His tiny face lit up with a brilliant idea. Benny realized he could use these leaves as stepping stones to cross the river. But he knew he had to be careful. He needed to choose the biggest and strongest leaves, ones that wouldn't sink under his weight. Thoughtfully, he began to gather the leaves, inspecting each one before deciding if it was worthy of his mission. Once he had collected enough, Benny started to place each leaf in the water, making sure they were steady before moving on to the next one. He was meticulous, ensuring each leaf was just a hop away from the other. With his path laid out, Benny took a deep breath, ready to make his journey across the river. With a brave heart and a determined mind, he began to hop from leaf to leaf. The river's current tried to sway him, but Benny was steadfast. He hopped from one leaf to another, his confidence growing with each successful leap. He was almost there. With a final leap, Benny landed safely on the other side of the river. His heart was pounding with excitement and pride. He had done it. He had found a clever solution to his problem, and it worked. With a final leap, Benny landed safely on the other side of the river. He was so proud of his clever solution. Benny's adventure had taught him an important lesson. You see, our little friend Benny found himself in quite a pickle, didn't he? He was in a mysterious forest, a place he'd never been before, facing challenges he'd never encountered. But did he give up? No, he did not. Instead, he looked around, took a deep breath, and used his creativity to find a solution. This is the heart of our story, the golden nugget of wisdom we can all take away from Benny's adventure. It's the idea that every problem, no matter how big or small, has a solution. Sometimes these solutions aren't immediately clear. They might require us to think a little bit more, to stretch our imaginations and step out of our comfort zones. And that's exactly what Benny did. He used his surroundings, he thought creatively, and most importantly, he was brave enough to try. Even when things seemed scary, and even when he wasn't sure if his plan would work, he tried anyway. And guess what? It worked. Benny overcame his challenge. He found his way out of the forest, and in doing so, he learned a valuable lesson. And so, Benny learned that every problem has a solution. We just need to think creatively and be brave enough to try. And that, dear friends, is the end of our story today. Sweet dreams!